Yeah.
Can I ask you who you want to win?
Zoran.
Oh, tell me why Zoran.
Because he's the only candidate whose politics don't bother me to my core.
What bothers you to your core about Cuomo?
Where can I start?
Anywhere you like.
The fact that he's a fest, that he is corrupt, that he put Republicans on the legislature when he was in office constantly, that he tried to block de Blasio's pre-K for all. I could go on.
Yeah.
He's been a crook since he started.
I'm seeing what Republicans are saying on X, and they're concerned about like him giving money to transgender healthcare in the city. Do you care about that?
I have never once cared about that. I mean, insofar as that, like, is this a problem?
Yeah.
I've never once cared about such things. No.
Yeah. The government-run grocery stores. What are your thoughts on those?
I think that's fine. It's a small program he wants to do. It's about, like, testing out new policies, taking chances with policy, which I think everybody should be doing. The term defund the police got co-opted by the bad people and turned into some kind of slam and some kind of othering. But what it is that there needs to be kind of it is about kind of making police accountable, and if they're not, their pay gets docked, kind of like that kind of general principle, because there's no need for police to have military grade SWAT gear for protests. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing that it was coming from a good place. It's, it made for a good slogan. It then got turned into, so you want the police to have no money, you want no police. And I think that became toxic just in how it was co-opted by Republicans and some centrists.
He describes himself as a Democrat socialist. Do you believe that socialism can work in New York City, given that it's the financial capital of the world?
I've said this before. I get to say this on camera. I'm very excited. I don't consider myself a socialist, but I think what the city needs and what the country needs is some socialism right now. I think that there's too big a discrepancy between the haves and the have-nots, and the way to do that is like a big wrecking ball of financial, economic equality coming in from the top down.
Shout out to Nate Friedman for the clip here, open things up. Hey, these are the type of people that are out there in New York City right now. Now, this dude doesn't look like he's hurting, but he seems to be okay with a super socialist candidate out there. Welcome back. It's your man Wise. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. This is a nice compilation video. New Yorkers sounding off. You're going to hear some clips from a multitude of people that either live in New York or, have family members out there. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel as well. Let's keep going. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this guy? What do you think of this guy over here? What are your thoughts? I want to hear from you guys. Let's keep going.
Zoran Mamdani is a democratic socialist. To conservatives, that makes him the devil. To the rent-burdened, the uninsured, and the underpaid, it makes him a damn hope. But what is democratic socialism? And is it even possible in the capitalist capital of the world, New York City? Democratic socialism isn't communism. It's not Stalin, not gulags, not government spies in your iCloud. It's the belief that everyday people...
It's not right now, but it could be. And it tends, for whatever reason, anytime a government decided to implement those types of policies, you'll start to see the gulags, you'll see the food lines, you'll see the shortage of food, you'll see a host of these things start to rear its ugly head, but let's let them cook some more.
Corporations should control the economy that rules their lives. That democracy shouldn't stop at the voting booth. It should extend to the workplace, the hospital, the housing market. It says if we can vote for a president, why can't we vote to cap rent hikes? If we can bail out banks, why can't we bail out single mothers? If we can tax workers' paychecks, why can't we tax billionaires' yachts? Socialism has always been the boogeyman in American politics. But here's the twist. The most popular programs in America, they were built by socialists. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, FDR rolled out the New Deal. Social Security, unemployment, insurance, public works jobs, housing programs, all inspired by socialist pressure from labor unions, left-wing thinkers, and yes, democratic socialists. Let's fast forward to 2025. Let's say you're a cashier in Brownsville. Your rent went up again and your asthma meds are $200. Let's say you're a delivery driver in Queens, dodging potholes and ice, or a home health aide in the Bronx, feeding elders while skipping meals for yourself. What Zoran fights for is not fantasy. It's housing as a human right. It's free public transit. It's canceling medical debt. It's taxing the rich so the poor don't have to die quietly. They say New York is too capitalist for socialism. But look around. Capitalism gave us Whole Foods across from food pantries. Capitalism gave us billionaire building luxury towers on top of NYCHA roofs. Democratic socialism says New Yorkers could build a different city, one where power doesn't trickle down from Wall Street, but rises up from Jackson Heights, where we invest in care, not cops, in housing, not handcuffs, in jobs, not jail. Zoran Mamdani is just one man. But what he represents is bigger than any election. He's part of a lineage. Harlem tenant organizers, sanitation strikes, the Black Panthers free breakfast program, movements that said, we keep us safe, we feed us, we house us. This isn't about left or right. It's about life and death. Democratic socialism isn't the end of America. It might be its rebirth. And in the ashes of capitalism, maybe it starts right here, in a city that's tired of being rich in buildings and poor in people.
Now, it's this type of rhetoric right here that will galvanize the masses. This brother right here, man, spoke so eloquently, so articulate. The problem is that history tells us that when these types of policies, this type of thinking gets implemented, it is normally a net negative for the masses of people. What we do know about capitalism, and I'm not saying that capitalism is flawless, but it has helped to create one of the fastest growing superpowers to ever exist on the planet. And it's giving people an opportunity to start at the bottom, and through hard work, through some grit, maybe a little luck, definitely a lot of blessings, and some ingenuity, a lot of these people can start at the bottom and they can work their way up to the top 10%. And if you just have some hard work about yourself, if you just, gain access to the right skill sets, you got the right mindset, the right type of ingenuity, you can definitely start yourself off at the bottom 10% and work your way to the bottom 50%. The problem with socialism isn't that, what they want to do as far as, free housing, free this, free that. One, somebody's got to pay for it. And two, it de-incentivizes people from being great. It de-incentivizes people from starting businesses, from thinking of new ideas. Because once someone realizes that it doesn't matter how hard or how hard or how little I work, we're all going to get the same. Hey, it just makes a lot of people say, you know what? I can't do this. It doesn't make sense. There's no point. So it just stomps growth. That's pretty much what happens. And before you know it, people stop building, people stop creating businesses, people stop thinking, being creative and dreaming because there's no benefit to it. So all of that stuff, it does sound great, but people always talk about the positivity, the positive aspect of socialism and communism, but they never talk about the negative aspect of it. And the negative, in my opinion, outweighs the positive. The problem is you got a lot of people out there looking for something for nothing, and free stuff always sounds good, but at what cost? Let's keep going.
I'm nervous for Florida, man, because I already know we about to get a lot of New Yorkers. Ooh, as a Floridian, I'm nervous because I know Florida's about to get an intake of New Yorkers. Because if that Republican don't win and somehow beat the socialist Muslim Islamic extremists, the silly people of New York. Just think about this. New York had a great mayor in Adams, a great a moderate mayor, not a Republican.
I don't know if we can say great. I don't know know about that, but let's let him keep going.
Just a moderate mayor, and they switched him out for a socialist, a guy who's talking about groceries. He's a well-known.
Just so you know, he hadn't been switched out. Mayor Adams is on the ticket as an independent. He will be on the ticket come November. It will be Mayor Adams. It will be this socialist Zoran Mamdani, as well as Republican Curtis Silva. Those will be the three people on the ballot come November out in New York City. I just want to make sure that we correct this brother here.
No socialist, endorsed by AOC, by the way. So grocery stores owned by the government. So New York is broke. Their debt that they've paid for migrants. They're down funding migrants. And he's already said he's going to tax the crap out of the rich, the corporations, what that's going to do. The corporations are not going to stay there and be taxed, y'all. Those corporations are going to lay off employees and they're going to move their businesses out of New York, which was going to cost thousands upon thousands of jobs. Then they're going to do city-run grocery stores, right? Who's going to pay for that? The taxpayers. That's hundreds of billions of dollars that's going to cost, right? And then they have to raise taxes more. New York is about to become unlivable, and it's because the silly Democratic voters of New York voted for a guy that's a socialist. That shows you that there's a block of the Democratic base, about 40% of them, that actually believes that socialism is the way to go and that capitalism is evil, because we have a generation that does not want to work.
Now, he's absolutely right there. There is a generation of people in this country that don't want to work. They feel like they deserve everything, don't have to work for anything. He's absolutely right there. I will say this. New York has been hemorrhaging businesses dating back to 2020. They've lost $25 billion in tax revenue over that time span. And that's on the low end. The number could actually be higher than that. I'm just touting the lower end number because there's a range there, right? The word is that they've lost anywhere from $5 to $8 billion a year in tax revenue due to the amount of businesses that have already got up and left out of the city. They've already left. So I always say $20 billion or $25 billion because, 5 times 5, that's dating back to 2020, that's $25 billion. But that number easily could be upwards of $40 billion in tax revenue going. They've lost hundreds of thousands of jobs up there. And if this guy wins, you can almost count that Wall Street, all those hedge funds, all of that, the New York Stock Exchange, all of that, it won't be the New York Stock Exchange anymore. That thing is either moving to Florida or it's going to move down to North Carolina, Charlotte. It'll become the Charlotte Stock Exchange or something along those lines. That would be my guess. Or maybe they'll move it to South Carolina or they'll move it to one of these cities or one of these states that's a little more welcoming to business, free enterprise, and capitalism and help grow some of these areas down south traditionally that have been maybe rural or lacking of opportunities. It would be a beautiful thing in those states. Places like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, they would welcome the New York Stock Exchange. They would welcome the NASDAQ. They would welcome them with open arms. Please bring those opportunities down there. They would welcome it. I'm just saying. So all the people that think that New York is bad right now, if this dude get in office, oh man, it's going to get a whole heck of a lot worse. Let's keep going.
Joining us now is New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who is running, even though he got elected as a Democrat, he's running for re-election as an independent. For your first response to that stunning news, Governor Cuomo is not going to be Mayor Cuomo.
Well, first, it's not stunning to me, and I was very clear, and I'm still a Democrat. I'm running on an independent line, which the policy in the law allows me to do. You had one candidate that was running away from his record. You had another candidate with no record, and you have Eric Adams with a record. I delivered for the city, and we're not going backwards. We're not going into a place where we want to defund the police, don't invest in jobs, where we believe we can make broken promises that we can't deliver. I delivered on every promise I gave to
Mr. Mayor, it's not just defund the police. This candidate, Democratic Socialist, he wants to freeze the rent. He wants city-run grocery stores, social workers to replace the police because that's going to help. He wants $60 billion of debt fund for affordable housing. He wants free buses, no cost for childcare, baby baskets for newborn, and a $30 minimum wage. How can someone vote for this?
He's a snake oil salesman. Mm-hmm. He will say and do anything to get elected. Think about this for a moment. He wants to raise 1%. He wants to raise tax on 1% of New Yorkers' high-income earners. As the mayor, you don't have the authority to do that. You know who has the authority to do that? An assemblyman, which he is. He wants to do free buses. He could have done it at assemblyman. He doesn't understand the power of government and how you must making sure you improve your economy, raise the standard of living, and this is what we've done in the city. And I'm looking forward to being on the campaign trail and showing New Yorkers we can't go backwards. And New Yorkers never surrender or quit. I'm never going to quit for the city that I love.
That is so interesting. You're in the position, so you know you don't have the authority to do that. Yet he's running on all these promises he's not going to be able to fulfill. And New Yorkers are buying it. Now, Cuomo did say he hasn't ruled out whether or not he's going to run as an independent, which means he would be on your ticket. He would run against you. How would that affect your race in the field?
I've said this over and over again. People know me by saying three things: stay focused, no distractions, and grind. That's what everyday New Yorkers do. I'm a working class man. I'm probably the first working class union card carrying man in the history of this city. Andrew at this time should realize that the time has moved on. He just did not bring the energy of wanting to be man. And New Yorkers, they have this smell test. They know, do you want the job? You can't come out on weekends, go to a black church, go eat fried chicken, and all of a sudden saying that I have the black vote, I have the working class people vote. It's just not the reality. People know if you want the job. He didn't want the job.
What has your phone been like?
Yeah, so I'm not going to speak on Cuomo like that because I don't know much other than the fact that we know his baggage. We know how he handled the shutdowns and COVID. We understand his Me Too allegations. Dude's got some baggage. He's got a lot of baggage. And hey, Mayor Eric Adams looks like he is a man on a mission to retain his seat. He's the current mayor. He is the incumbent right now. And he's already on the offense when it comes to Zoran Mamdani. And wow, I'm actually glad to hear it. Let's hear from another New Yorker, though. Let's keep going.
This is a sad day for New York. And this is really the beginning of the end for the Democratic Party. They have recently elected mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani as mayor of New York. This has created a great divide in the Democratic Party. They are cracks now because they are battling within themselves, because you have these extreme lefts in the party and you have those moderates, and they are fighting amongst each other because they cannot come to a cohesive decision on which direction they want the Democratic Party to go. This is why they lost. And to be honest with you, I'm gonna gloat. It's a good day to be a Republican. I can tell you that. Best believe that. Why? Because us as Republicans, we're getting shit done. We're standing on business and we are trying to implement things that we said that we're going to do. Trump and his administration, they're implementing things that they have said that they're going to do. But watch, the fact that they've already elected this Zoran Mamdani, he is going to slowly start infiltrating with the freaking Sharia law. Watch. This is what they do. They have these extremists, these radicals, and that's what he is. He is an extremist, he is a radical, and he's a jihadist. And do you think he cares about the New York people? Do you think he cares about the culture, the multicultural, the melting pot of so many cultures and nationalities in New York? He only cares about his religion. And he's caring about Islam and trying to infiltrate that Sharia law into New York. I'm telling you, this is the beginning of the end, because this is what the Democratic Party, they're about, trying to push agendas, but it's now going to be at the detriment of the people of New York now, because now they've got an extremist as a mayor. And it's funny, it really is funny how all the people that were supporting this man, you had the alphabet community, you had liberals, you had feminists, everybody supporting this man. But do you think he cares about that population? Heck no. He does not care about that. He only cares about Islam and trying to, push on his radical ideals. That's all he cares about.
Hey, and this is a running theme. You're seeing this go on in England right now. If you look in the country England, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 12 to 14 of their cities are currently being led by people who practice Islam. I have nothing against Islam or Islam. I have absolutely nothing against it. But what we do know is that the things that they want to implement, it just goes against our way of life here in the United States of America. And the last thing that we want to be is another England. We are not trying to follow their footsteps. I do appreciate this young lady stepping up and speaking on it, but obviously she was a little wrong. He just won the primary, not the actual race. The actual general election is in November. So there's a lot of people that has jumped out here and said that he actually is going to be the new mayor. No, he's just representing the Democratic Party, as their mayoral candidate in New York City. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. Let's keep going.
Big news, New York City. Your boy Zoran Mamdani just assigned me to be the new commissioner of Jewish affairs. I am so honored to be able to do this for my Jewish people. And I just want to go over some of the policies that we're going to be implementing. First off, Sharia law. Get ready, baby. Don't worry. Don't be scared, Jews. Come on. It's not a big deal, right? But you can't wear yarmulkes anymore. And the women, you're all going to be forced to wear a hijab. And those sorts of things. You go Google Sharia law. It's going to be great for New York City. Secondly, I'm instituting a jizya tax for all the non-Jews. If you want to be able to continue being Jewish, you just got to pay a small tax for protection. It's not a lot. It's actually less than what the feds charge us in taxes. It's not the worst thing in the world. But if those of you who don't want to pay the jizya tax, don't worry. We'll round you guys up, and we have a camp that you can go to for a few months, and that's how you can do some work, and that's how you'll pay off that tax if you don't want to get rid of some of your shekels. Also, bagels are banned. No more bagels in New York City. I'm sorry. It's only falafel and hummus from now on. What else? And we're just going to keep things going. Allah Akbar. Long live the Ayatollah. And yeah, free Palestine. And the Jews are coming for you. Ah!
This dude's a nut. This dude's a nut. Now, for those of you guys that are not familiar with jizya law, it's basically a tax imposed on non-Muslims, mainly adult males, Jews, Christians, in return for protection, exemption from military service, and the right to practice their religion under an Islamic state. So you basically get to pay to live your life. I mean, come on, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. But I got two more clips to share with you guys, and then we're going to keep things going. I want to hear, what are your thoughts on this guy? Obviously, this dude is probably going to find himself on Fox on the Gutfeld show because he's a comedian. But there's always a little bit of truth in the comedy. Let me hear from you guys in the comment section about that.
I voted for Mamdani.
Okay, can you tell us why?
I'm just looking for someone new and not part of the established Democratic Party who also hasn't been accused of sexual assault.
I spoke to the other side a little bit, and they're concerned about the government-run grocery stores and the free buses. What's your response to that?
I think government in the U.S. is great in the sense that there's always balance, right? No one person is making all the decisions, and so I think there'll be balance within.
He describes himself as a Democrat socialist. Do you feel like socialism would work in New York City?
No, not necessarily.
But you voted for the guy. So you don't think that what he wants to do will work, but you voted for the guy. I promise you, man, I am starting to believe that white, educated, liberal women are literally trying to destroy America from the inside out. From the inside out. It would not surprise me at all if they're doing it on purpose. Seriously, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this young lady is a trust fund baby. She drinks $12 coffees from Starbucks and she's got a trust fund. Her dad is super wealthy. He runs a hedge fund, but yet you are voting against someone who would try to tax your dad into oblivion. I mean, it is pretty daggone crazy. I'm telling you, white, educated, liberal women are some of the worst people in this country. They really are. Oh my goodness.
You talked to him on Friday.
We had him on the show on Friday. We also had Brad Lander on, and Brad Lander talked about being tackled by ICE agents as he was trying to defend immigrants. What Mamdani said that I thought was really extraordinary, he would be the first immigrant mayor of the preeminent immigrant capital in the United States, a city that is a sanctuary city where people are still being accosted at their immigration hearings. And so I think just symbolically, I think this is a message about people's revulsion in the treatment of immigrants by this administration, and about the ways in which the Adams.
These people just lie. You know what I'm saying? Can we keep it real? Illegal immigrants, because no one is accosting immigrants that are here the right way, that came over here the right way, that are doing the right things. Nobody is accosting them. They're not concerned. They shouldn't be worried. But the illegal immigrants, they should be concerned, and they need to just go ahead and self-deport and get up out this country.
Administration has been complicit in that.
Can I
think
play
that's
a little
part
bit,
of what's
Joy,
made him
from your
popular.
interview with him,
Sure.
where he talks about this? Let's listen.
I would be the first immigrant mayor of this city in generations, and I would be proud to be that, but even prouder for what I would actually do. This is a city of immigrants. We've said for so long, 40% of New Yorkers were born outside of this country. And yet what we've seen in the current mayoral administration, and even in Andrew Cuomo's campaign, is an insufficient readiness to actually take on Donald Trump and protect New Yorkers. One of the things we should be proudest of in New York City are our sanctuary city laws. These are laws that have kept New Yorkers safe for decades, been defended by Republicans and Democrats alike for that time period until the demagoguery of this current mayor. I would proudly stand up for those laws.
So he's talking there also about Eric Adams, who we haven't really talked about because he's not in this primary, but is expected to run on another line in the general. This will be an indictment on Eric Adams, too.
With that being said, we're going to wrap this right here, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the New Yorkers and what they think about Mamdani? What do you think about Mamdani? What do you think about democratic socialism? What do you think about the direction of the Democrat Party leaning well into the far left progressive ideology, opposed to coming back to the center? What are your thoughts there? I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Keep God first, stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.